we just thank God for who he does and who he has been. We want to ask Stevie if he would get us a song together before we dismiss this service. We would be remiss if we did not allow him to participate. I want to thank the bishops of this church, Bishop Turner and Bishop Lees, for taking care of things in our absence, which is their job anyway, to do. And we just thank God that we can go and come back and find things in order as God would have them to be. We missed you all. You know, I understand what Dorothy said. There's no place like home, and we're just glad to be back home. And we thank God for traveling grace. We thank all of you that helped Kylan in the effort for the epilepsy walk. We had a great time. Some of you were able to come, some of you were able to pray, and some of you were able to give, but everything counts and everything helps, so we thank God for that. We thank Sister Payne for being a patient trooper with me. She's been up and down the road with me for the last 2 weeks, and we thank God for that. We encourage all that can to be with us, to go to Cypress Street this afternoon at 2:30. I do not know who the speaker is. I asked last night if because I didn't see a flyer from them, but I did ask if they were having something. They are having something at 2:30. I'm getting in the habit of not asking who's speaking because I just firmly believe that it does not matter who is speaking.
Brother Marshall.
Billy Marshall, good friend of mine, so I'm glad he is speaking. But be that as it may, I'm getting out of the habit of who's asking who's speaking, because I just believe we ought to support the word of God wherever it's spoken. That being said, our gospel meeting will start, I don't call them gospel meetings. Our series of meetings will be on May 24th through the 27th. I'm hurrying up so we can get in and get out. But our message, we trust that we'll find this message inspirational to you. If nothing else, let us be standing. The psalmist here goes from a low to a high. If you look at it in verse 1 and 2, he's having some problems. He's having some situations. But then you look at the last verse in that psalm, and he says, it's good to be with God. In spite of the troubles I'm going through, it's just good to be with God. And I want to talk about 3 keys to our spiritual life. If you don't understand these 3 keys, you won't make it. So I feel like I need to tell you what you need to do to make it when you don't look like you're going to make it. Anybody ever been there? Yeah. Anybody ever been where it just looked like stuff is just not going to work out? Yeah. The harder you try, the worse it gets. But the first thing you need to do, first key, is to survive it. First thing you want to do is just survive it. And to survive simply means to endure or live through an affliction, adversity or misery, etc. Anybody here had to survive something, whether it be a sickness, whether it be financial help, whatever it is, all of us have got to learn that we have got to survive. Amen. If we're honest with ourselves, we can all relate to a point in time when all we really wanted to do, and in fact all we felt like we could do, was merely survive another day spiritually, merely survive another day financially, merely survive another day physically. And even that seemed in doubt. We have been to the doctor and he says you've got a serious illness, or you go to your bank and he says you're financially in trouble, or you go to the court and they tell you everybody can relate to being in a situation where, Lord, I just want to survive the next 24 hours. Amen. And when we look at the text, we can understand something. Truly God is good to Israel, to those whose hearts are pure. Now that's a statement nobody can contradict. We know we sure enough serve a good God. Yes. We can say without contradiction that God is good. Yes. But when we look at the second portion of it, to those whose hearts are pure, we can't say that we've always had a pure heart. We can't always say we've done the right thing, and I don't care how holy you think you are, you've messed up. And it bothers me when folk come to worship and look at other folk like they're the one with the problem. Every one of us sitting here has a problem. And can't get on our high horse and begin to think God is good to Israel, especially those with a pure heart. But sometimes our heart's not pure because he comes up, he says, but as for me. Now watch, the key word here is almost. You know how y'all look at that? Man, I almost won the lotto. I was just one number off. It was almost. I almost lost my footing. My feet were slipping and I was what? He survived it. In spite of it, he survived it. The text here alludes to a person walking or climbing only to falter. Have you ever been walking along and all of a sudden you just trip and you catch yourself before you fall? I'll never forget one time we were at Disney World and we were walking and it was at night and this guy, we were walking along talking and they had these big flower pots. Well, he was walking around talking to somebody, wasn't looking where he was going, and before he knew it, he had walked into that flower pot, and his feet were up in the air. But he was cool. He got up like he was looking for something. It's how you recover. See, when you're almost, so when you're traveling, and you almost lose your footing. And it's because you're on treacherous ground. I hear folks saying all the time, Rough Lemon, I'm coming up on the rough side of the mountain. If you're going to climb, it's only going to be on the rough side. You're going to get some scrapes and some bruises if you're going to climb. You try to climb a smooth mountain with grass on the side. It's like slip and slide. You got to go through some rough stuff to get where you need to go. And God is not being unfair. It's just the circumstances of life. Every one of us have gone through some stuff and said, God, why me? But if you look around it, you ain't the only me. Everybody's going through something. And somehow we survive it. We don't slip. We slip, but we don't fall. And that's the key to it. If you slip and don't fall, you can keep going. You recoup. But why does this happen to us, Stevie? Why does it happen? Why do we almost fall in this life? Well, the first thing is contradiction. Life is full of contradiction. You know, some stuff just does not make sense. Have you ever seen folk that never smoked a day in their lives and end up with lung cancer? Huh? Have you ever seen folk that just won't do right and look like everything goes? Life is full of contradictions. And the psalmist says this, for I envied the proud when I saw them prosper despite their wickedness. They seem to live such painless lives. Their bodies are so strong and healthy. It seems like it doesn't matter how good we live. Sometimes life just ain't that good. We're living lives to the best of our ability to please God, and yet we're sick and tired day in and day out. And if I'm not sick and tired, somebody that I love dearly is sick or has some situations. And then it seems that folk that can't even spell right, let alone do right, don't even know how to spell the word. Seems like their lives they just living fat, fit, fine, and healthy lives, all the while getting drunk, partying, mistreating other folk, stealing, and everything else they're big and bad enough to do. That is a contradiction. And when it causes contradiction, then it's conflict. It's almost like a conflict of interest. God, why am I serving you when all these other folks seem to be making it? Amen. Am I the only one that's been there? No. Just stay with me. So that's why you got to understand how just merely to survive. Now watch what he says. They don't have troubles like other people. They're not plagued with problems like everyone else. They wear pride like a jeweled necklace and clothe themselves in cruelty. These fat cats have everything their hearts could ever wish for. They scoff and speak only evil. In their pride, they seek to crush others. That's my problem with the rap game. I know you young folks like it, but I got a problem with some of the rappers. Cause they always worried about their rep and trying to tear down somebody else. And they have all these beefs and all these fights about who's the baddest and who. I can't imagine the Four Tops and the Temptations. Shut up. Can you imagine them running? It's a contradiction. And when I look at it, not only am I sick sometimes, a lot of times I'm broke. Here we are, trying to get by, Brother Bill, good to see you. Have you ever been, you see folks ain't acting right, won't do right, and they got everything they want, and here we are trying to stretch $1 to pay for bills that's $100. That's a contradiction. And not only that, they don't give anything to the Lord. They don't help needy folk, and then they brag about how they cheated everybody else out of their stuff. Yet they have all their heart's desire. That's a contradiction that will cause a conflict for me, church. I don't know about you. Anybody else have a problem with that? And if that ain't bad enough, they boast against the very heavens. They boast against the very heavens. And their words struck throughout the earth. If it's not bad enough that they deal with other folk wrong, they brag about what they're doing like heaven can't do nothing about it. Well, here it is. They talk against heaven itself while here on earth. In the meanwhile, it seems like we're living in a hellish situation just trying to make heaven our home. When nothing makes sense, contradiction and conflict can take a strong hold on us. So we find ourselves merely operating in the survival mode, just trying to make it through one more day. And then if we're honest with ourselves, not only do we have contradictions and conflicts, then we start to have confusion. And so the people are dismayed and confused, drinking in all their words. What does God know they have? Does the Most High even know what's going on? Look at these wicked people enjoying a life of ease while their riches multiply. It makes no sense to me how God allows for, but I'm not God, so it doesn't have to make sense. Let me pause for station identification. It makes no sense to me how some folks seem to just, it's confusing. And not only do we get confused as Christians, but we get dismayed. But I want you to pause for station identification. Here's what I want you to understand. You ever listen to a gambler, Mika? They tell you about what they won. Thank you. That's why he said, drinking in all their words. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. The folk party and tell you what a good time they had last night, but they don't tell you about the hangover this morning.
All right now. All right.
They tell you how they picked up 6 women last night, but how they lost their wife this morning.
All right now.
Don't drink that mess in because there's a side that you know.
That's right.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Don't lead. It can lead. Instead of questioning them, then we start to question God. That's a good thing. Does God even know what's happening? Does God even know? Look at all these wicked people enjoying life. Their riches multiply. Look at what he says. Did I keep my heart pure for nothing? Did I keep myself innocent for nothing? I get nothing but trouble all day long. Every morning brings me pain. You ever felt that way? Yes. Why am I getting up going to work when all these folks telling me all I got to do is get on welfare? I had one young lady tell me years ago when I was in Miami, I ain't ever going to work as long as I can get welfare. So I said, that means I got to work twice as hard to take care of it.
Don't you see?
There you go.
Yeah.
Then you start to question yourself. Look at verse 12. Not only do you question God, But you start to question yourself. And I like this because it says, if I had really spoken this way to others, I would have been a traitor to your people. You have to watch what you say when you're going through your circumstances, because somebody is listening to you and you can drag them. So the psalmist says, when I start looking at all this stuff, and that's why it's not always good to say what you think. You know, some folks, I just got to say what's on my mind. Sometimes it just needs to stay on your mind. Because what you say can affect somebody else. And all of us sitting here have already acknowledged we've been through some stuff we don't understand. And we're just trying to survive, and we're confused. We're confused, there's conflict. So what do I need? So what do I need? Sometimes questioning yourself is the best thing you can do, because it will do something for you. It'll bring you clarity. See, you need clarity, not clarity. All of a sudden, you see what I'm thinking internally must never be expressed externally. There are too many people around me struggling just as I am, and I cannot afford to be a traitor in this Christian army. So I seek to find clarity in a crazy world. That's what young folk need, young Turner. That's what you need. You need clarity in a crazy world.
All right now.
Because if you don't find clarity, you go crazy with the rest of it. And for people like me, it's not a very long trip. So where do I find clarity when I'm in the survival mode? In a world that is full of contradiction, conflict, and confusion. Especially when I know that my spiritual life, don't you feel like I ought to be more than just surviving sometimes?
Amen.
All right. You know, sometimes you say, is this all there is? You mean I can't do no better? I've been with God all this time, and, well, y'all don't get it. Let me get it on the financial side. Have you ever worked all week and then look at your bank account and say, is this all? You can understand that, can't you? I work 40, 50, 60 hours, and this is all. That's how we ought to feel sometimes spiritually. We ought to get to a point where I'm tired of just surviving.
All right.
I'm just tired of just surviving. So what's the next step? What's the next step? And I'm just gonna give you a highlight for Lord bless us see next week, because I'm gonna land this plane right now. It says, the next step after we survive, is to revive. How do I to reanimate or to cheer the spirit, heart, etc. of a person? When I have been just in survival mode, what I need is revival. Somebody needs to help me understand that there's more to life than this. Well, how do I accomplish this? I take my eyes off the world and put them on the Word.
Amen. Amen.
See, as long as I'm looking at the world, I'm going to stay confused. So I take my eyes off the world. Then I went to your sanctuary. You notice I underlined that word sanctuary? Church of Christ folk, y'all need to stop calling this area auditorium. This ain't no auditorium. It's a sanctuary. Because an auditorium is just where you go to hear speeches and see performances.
All right.
That's what an auditorium is. But a sanctuary is a place of safety for the sanctified. And sometimes it is just an auditorium because you can hear and see anything. All show and no go. But if it's a sanctuary, that's why you don't hear me preaching a bunch of one church sermons. You hear me preaching about loving folk, treating folk right, trying to get your life together, because we need to be in a safe, I need someplace safe from the world outside of this place. And if I can't come into this place, and find some safety.
Amen.
I expect to get shot out there. But we got drive-by shootings in the eyes.
Well,
Outrage. It's a place for the revival only begins when I understand where I stand. When I came into the sanctuary, I finally understood. That's you know why we don't understand? We've been getting the wrong messages.
well,
Do I believe that I believe there's one church, but the devil believes that too.
oh yeah.
It don't make him act no better. Because what will happen is, but like what Mitch was talking about the other morning in Sunday school, when you think you're right all the time, you think everything you do is right.
Well,
And another thing, when I say one church, don't misunderstand me. I'm not in the judging business. Folk got to stand before God for themselves. So don't misunderstand me. I'm not here telling folk they going to hell. That's God's business. I'm going to do everything I can do to help everybody I can, because I got to stand. That's when you understand where you stand. When you understand where you stand, you don't try to be the judge and jury of everybody else. How crazy would it be? How crazy would it be? They got me in jail. They just arrested me last night. And then I'm telling them, Eric's sitting there with me. They got me for a felony. They got him for a misdemeanor. Man, you in trouble, Eric. You said that, then we come to church with the same stuff. Some folk got misdemeanors.
That's all right.
all right now.
And we got felonies and we condemn it.
All right.
Words carry a whole lot of meaning. So when you come to Franklin Street, don't say, matter of fact, I have discovered something else, Meeks Elder Turner. I found out, you know they call a zoo a sanctuary? You know, they call a zoo a sanctuary, and I discovered something. It's not to protect us from the animals, it's to protect the animals from Why is it important that I come to the sanctuary? Watch what he says. I finally understood the destiny of the wicked. So when you come to the sanctuary, there's something you ought to be looking for. There's something you ought to be looking for. You ought to be looking for some understanding. Look at your neighbor and say, I ain't understanding, Miller. I gain understanding from your precepts. Therefore, I hate every wrong path. I gain understanding from what I'm taught. So just because wrong folk look like they're getting by, doesn't mean I'm going to hang out with it and do what the wrong. Now, don't misunderstand me. You can hang out with wrong folk. You just don't have to do what they do.
Amen. Amen.
You can be an example to folk where you are. When I was in college, I'm not knocking it now, don't misunderstand me. When I was in college, they say, hey, we going to the club, come go to the club with us. I never drank, never danced. That didn't make me holy. I'm just saying, you set the standard for what you're going to be.
That's right. All right.
For one thing, I had spent too much time and money getting dressed.
All right.
There you go, I was too cool to sweat. And when I got ready to go home, I wanted a clear mind.
Amen.
It's not where you go. Let me leave you with this illustration. I've told you before, but some of you may not have heard it, but I think you can learn from something. When Jim Chapman was our congressman, he had a deal called Monday Night Football at the country club. And so Sister Payne and I were invited to Monday Night Football, and they had the ribs and a shrimp, and they had an open bar. You could drink what you want when you want. So the first time I went to the bar, I told the lady 2 Cokes. So we drank those Coke. I went back to the bar. Caucasian lady at the bar. She said, 2 Cokes, right? I said, yeah. I said, and I smiled at her. I said, but I'm not impressed because we don't let black folk here. She said, no, y'all are the ones drinking Coke. Folk watch you wherever you go. So you can be a good example in a bad place. Sometimes folk need to see something different. Sometimes the places we not going, you notice where Jesus went everywhere. Matter of fact, they call him a friend of Republicans and sinners. Because he hung out with the bad folk. And the only way you're going to get good folk is to change bad. Because all of us are some bad. The last thing, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light. That's why you stumble. You stumble because you can't see where you're going. But if you ever put light on something, how many of you have gotten out of bed in the dark and bumped your toe on the bedpost? Huh? But if you turn the light on, you seldom, huh? That's why you get confused, because Satan has put a little darkness where there should be. So next week, if the Lord says same, we're going to go through the revival mode. Anybody know how to survive now? Just make it through another day. That's why you ought not miss God's time. See, one of the things that you need to understand is when folk are in survival mode, you know the first thing Satan tells you to do? Child, you don't feel good this morning. Don't go to worship.
Amen.
Isn't it funny he don't tell you not to go to Walmart? He don't tell you not to go to your job. He don't tell you not to go to the casino. Casino, I'm calling, excuse me.
Don't tell it.
He tells the only place he tells you not to go. You know why? Because if you go to the right church, you're going to get some understanding, and the word's going to put some lamp on your feet. And some light on your path. So you understand it ain't over. And this is just temporary. I'm going through some stuff, but what helped me understand life is that when I look, life has been good for me a long time, but now we're starting to have some adversity, and what it made me understand is, Dwight, you are not exempt. Your family is not exempt.
Amen.
Now look at Stevie and the love he has for Lisa. It's not Lisa's fault. Why give Lisa a hard time because of life circumstances? Give Stevie some love, because there's a lot of husbands and that's not condemning Lisa. And Lisa's a loving person. But I'm just trying to tell you, everybody's going through something.
Amen. Amen.
And it's how you handle your something. Lisa's just as sweet as she can be. Always sweet. That'd be me. I'd be raising sand, and I'd be the hardest person. That's why Sister Payne knows me well enough that I haven't gotten there yet. That's why when I was in hospital, Sister Payne didn't tell a lot of y'all, because I'm a hard person to live with when I ain't feeling with. But I'm trying to get there.
All right.
I've got to learn how to handle. You know why? Because in our minds as men, we used to taking care if you're a real man.
All right. There you go.
If we pause for station identification. If you're a real man, you used to taking care of stuff instead of folk taking care of you.
All right.
Now, if you're trying to be a jig, come back.
Go ahead.
But when you're a real man, you used to taking care of stuff instead of folk taking care of you. So it's hard to let folk take care of you. But you need to learn how to. Jesus died on the cross. He knew we were going to deal with some stuff. He knew that we were going to go through just being surviving, just surviving. And so he wanted to give us a method to get beyond survival. What did he do? He died on the cross. He took, and that's like, how many of you would trade $1 million for some monopoly money. I mean, a real $1 million for some monopoly money. That's basically what Jesus did. He took our sins in exchange for his right. Boy, that's the deal.
Amen.
If you walk out of here without that deal today, you crazy. Now, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but if you can get that kind of deal, where you give up nothing for everything, well, what did he do? He died on the cross. He died on the cross. And we need to believe that. We need to believe that with all of our hearts. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. One thing I don't doubt is that Jesus is real, God is real, His Holy Spirit is real, because He's gotten my family through too much.
Amen.
That's what I thought I was never. I realize He's got my friends that I love and folks that I love that are hurting. I've watched Him work in their behalf.
Amen.
Because I'm that kind of way. I'm just that kind of way. When you hurt, when I love you, when you hurt, I hurt. When you sick, I don't feel too good myself. But you watch some folks that's around you, when you sick, they're all right. They happy.
Yeah.
That's why some folk don't need to go to the hospital. Child, you sure don't look good. You know why? Because they don't want you to look good.
Amen. Amen.
And then they go home and call, if you want to see them, you better go now.
That's it. Amen. That's the truth. That's the truth.
So I need to believe that Jesus died on the cross for me. And I believe in Him, I really do. I'm learning to believe in Him more and more every day. He's gotten me through stuff, and I know He's gotten you through stuff. Every one of us sitting here has been through some junk stuff and things that you thought, if you had to deal with it early in your life, you thought I never would have made it. But look where you are now. God brought you through it. And so I need to change my mind about the way I've been living. I need to change my relationship with Him. I need to change my relationship with other folks. And that's called repentance. I need to just make a change in my life. And there's nothing wrong with changing for good. Nothing wrong with changing good from bad for good. Then I need to own Him. I need to confess Christ to be the sweetest name on earth. I need to let everybody know that I know Him and He knows me. And He loves me and I love Him. And the problem with some of us as Christians, we've heard of Him, but we don't know Him. You can hear a lot of folks, but that don't know you. That doesn't mean you know Him. You just heard of Him. You go to an arena, and folk, you know, I tell Brother Tony, yeah, man, I know I'm going to the game, and I know Jerry Jones, and then I get to the stadium, and Jerry Jones walk by me like you don't even know me. Because I know of Him. That doesn't mean you know somebody because you know of Him. What's wrong with a lot of church folk? They know of Jesus. But they don't know Him. And then I need to be baptized. Become a Christian, nothing more and nothing less. And then that will start the revival process. And I'm going to give you a little hint. I'll give you a coming preview. The third step is not only revival, but you need to thrive. You can't just revive. And so, if you're in the survival mode, if you're in the survival mode, I want you to stand where you are when we sing the song of meditation, or come down front. And be honest. Lord, I'm at a point where I'm just trying to survive. And I need help. And I tried to give you some clarity this morning by telling you, in case you don't make it back next week, I'm going to tell you one of the keys to next week. You know the difference between the Word and the world? Spell it for me. The L is missing out of word. You know what the L is? It's a lie. The world tells you a lie.
Yeah.
But once you take the lie out of the world, it becomes.
All right.
Come on, stand and give your life to Jesus. Steve, if you will.